now from me, personally, from my experiences. And I shared this at the... What happened in Dumaguete? Trailblazers exchange. More from YMA here. Or YMAers. Were you in Dumaguete? Oh, I have a picture with you. Oh my gosh, my God. Oh, I shared this in Dumaguete, and I'd like to share this with you as a means lang of putting everything all together from my own experiences and from my own perspectives of me as somebody who has been doing this for a while, for a long time, not a while, for a long time already. My first, I think, I started being on stage professionally when I was second year high school. When I hosted my first pageant, because my mom, who was originally the choice, asked me to go with her because she couldn't read the script on stage. I needed to on stage. So I served as her co-host na, and that started the next year. Wala siyang bitara ko na. Kaya mas kasi magpatanaw sa gawan at that time. So that's how I started. And so I've been on stage several times. I also acted on stage. I am one of the original actresses of Alvin Claude Evangelio. I'm an original member of his stable of artists with Tata Villacastin Maguyo, who's also a product of CFE. So sa mismong original ng mga artista dito Al. And in school, I was an orator and a declaimer. And even from grade school, sige na kong apel of mga stage plays, mga salina. So, in a way, bigyan ako itablado. But again, as I said kaganina, nothing beats preparation. So you really have to be prepared. So let's just go over lang very quickly the rest, no, of what I want to share with you tonight. Ngano mahadlok man mo istorya atubangan sa daghang tao? Mahadlok ta. Do you know that kanang public speaking is the #1 fear of most people? Basta daghan bang mo claim nga mahadlok sila public speaking kaysa mahadlok o spiders, kaysa mahadlok o sa padalaga? Ha? Ongo. Basta daghan mo claim nga mahadlok sila public speaking. Mas musukol pa sila ongo kaysa public speaking. So nga mahadlok man ta istorya in public? Mahadlok tang masayo? Mahadlok tang mauwawan? Ang tubag ana, mapangandaman man. Mahadlok tang mauwawan kay matikil po, even models, di ba? So mapangandaman na, kung nagandam lang na siya sa matos niya mga buko, o yan nag-practice yung lakaw, yung mapangandaman, hindi siya mauwawan. Mahadlok tang mag-urine, mag-stutter, stammer, mawala sa punto, babalik-balik ta, ang tubag ana, ma-practice man nato. Mawala, magkurug-kurug ta, hadlok ta kay magkurug-kurug ta, klaro kayo, or hadlok ta nga masawayan ta, o mabugal-bugalan ta. Ang tubag ana, mag-practice or kung magkurug-kurug ka, mapaknamay mga techniques para makalma ka. Kung mahadlok ka nga mabugal-bugalan ka, matubag man ani mo bugal-bugal, o matubag man ani mo ang pagsaway. You can be graceful about it, you can be charming about it. Okay? Naagid siya itubag ang tanan ng mga kahadlok. Let's go back quickly to the communication cycle. If you listen to your teachers in English on communication, naminaw mo? Yes. Okay. Communication cycle has to be complete. Ang stimulus, padong reaction, which means ang message, kinanglan siya o feedback. Mubalik na, dapat na ni-arrow direct. Balik, two-way, ang communication. That's why it's very important when somebody sends you a text message, you have to acknowledge. Especially if importante siya to some extent like, I'll see you there at 6 o'clock. Kung makibaw siya, manadawat to nimong message, you have to acknowledge para makumpleto ang cycle of communication. That's a cycle man of communication. Okay, very quickly lang. Because the stimulus or a message is the message you're trying to send as a speaker, and then ang reaction or a feedback mo ay mahitabo niya, ma-elicit niya ninyo from your audience. Okay? The message is as important as the messenger. The speech, therefore, is equally important as the speaker. So what is an ideal speech? It's KISS. Keep it short. Keep it short, stupid. Keep it short and Namumuyugan because they want to sound impressive. They use high-sounding terms that even they themselves don't understand, are not sure of, or don't even use in their daily discourse, di ba? So i-avoid na. Di ba kinakailangan mag-pretend you know a lot of words, you're big on words. No. Ang importante, klaro ang iyong mensahe. The clarity of message is also very important, and this can be achieved by using the right words, citing data and details, ensuring that the speech's contents are of substance and not hogwash. Observing universally acceptable pronunciation, whether in the dialect or in English, British English ba or American English ba. Use a language or dialect you prefer with the audience in mind. Munang okay lang yung magbisaya ka kung haong na po sa imuhang naminaw nimo. Kung mag-in-English ka, maningkamot yung ka nga sakto imong grammar, sakto imong pronunciation, sakto imong diction, sakto imong vocabulary. Because naman yung sa misuse nato ang some terms or inaccurate atong choice of words, or our lexical resource becomes dubious. Clarity of message is illustrated here in the importance of one letter. Diba? Buwag yun yung tsura. Had so much fun today at the beach. Wish you were her. They go here, right? The importance of punctuation. Now, I once spoke to a convention of English teachers. 90% of them were Cebuanos or Bisaya. But I failed to realize, and actually realized it later, that 10% were Tagalog. So most of my jokes were in Cebuano. So at the end of my speech, although most of them liked my speech and my sharing, there were a few of them na nagreklamo because they did not get my jokes. And it was my failure. It was my fault because what mamukibaw na yung mga Tagalog. I just presumed na since it was in San Carlos, kadagkanan nila Bisaya. So nasayog ko. If you need to, you can provide an interpreter. And then also, should your notes will your notes have to be in English? Pwede ba siya Cebuano? Kailangan ba mo i-translate? Kaya usahay mo, look at how things are done here in the city. Kanang itong mga, like ang RH bill, pananglitan. Ngayon po kayo tarpulin, o kung sa mga pros or cons RH bill in English. Do you think ang mga masa makasabutan na? Dili, diba? So kasi kinahanglan nga imong ihaumsad ang imong literature, ang imong mensahe sa imong audience again. Now, the fundamental parts of a speech, very quickly, intro. You have to be courteous, but never apologize for coming late or being unprepared. This is a no-no in public speaking. Never ever apologize. Because panahon lang nimo ang diliuta dapat idako. Panalitan, don't apologize nga na late ka, don't apologize nga, bakit imong sulod, don't apologize nga nagiyuring yung itsura, or dato'y nakalitan yung notes, no, pretend gawa. There's no problem, that's a no-no yun. In your introduction, you can be funny. Crack a joke or two, but ideal, related, or relevant to the topic at hand. You can be shocking with your introduction. You can show pictures, graphics to jolt the audience. So may jolt, makugang sila. So they want to hear more. They want to learn more. Pinakugang mo sila, di ba? Brief history of the event or celebration or experience you're about to share. So pwede na, unsa about yung speech na relevant to the event. In your body, make an outline with keywords to help you remember the next idea or subtopic. It can be scripted, it can be memorized, or it can be a combination of both. Dakay script, imo sa siyang i-memorize. So every now and then, mo tanaw lang ka, mo glance lang ka, and pwede mo siyang ma-expand. Okay? Now, if it's memorized, you won't miss a thing. You can, and di ka mo veer away, di ka mawala. I'm sure you've heard of speakers nga nawala sa topic. Especially because wala sila gitamod nga script, or wala sila gitamod nga outline, mawala sa usik ay oras, sila sa kibaw mo balik, right? So it would be a challenge. However, ang problema ng memorized nga speech is that you come out robotic, mura ka robot, and you're simply mouthing your speech or the message. And ang mensahe ani sa audience is you are insincere. No? Di ba mo itong feeling as audience kung nalay magbasa, tubangan na to or memorize niya. Use visuals to support the body of the speech. Now, visuals again should be short and clear. The fonts and the graphs. For example, when you're using PowerPoints, make sure ang fonts niya dili gamay nga ang nasa pinakaluyo dili makabasa. Useless man na, kabantayan mo na yung mga gamit ng visual aids nga, iponsisok tanan, niya maglibog ng kag-asa ng kadapitan kay kanang daghan na kayo ba? So be careful sa fonts o graphs mo. Use keywords, emphasis words, not entire paragraphs as much as possible. Again, unless you want, it's very, very important sa imong speech ng tibuok paragraph. In your conclusion, summarize the entire speech in a nutshell. So, unsa man yun? So that your audience will not go home hanging ba? Sa to? Unsa ganito yung istorya? Unsa ganito about? Okay, so in a nutshell, mo ginay, even in writing, the purpose of the conclusion is simply to put closure to the entire exercise. That's it. Okay? Do not introduce a new idea in the conclusion. Never. That's a no-no in writing speeches for reading or for speaking. Always reaffirm or reconfirm your earlier message. It's effective in the conclusion. Kung sa imong mensahe in the introduction, ibalik mo in the conclusion. So, pilit siya sa muna sa imong audience. You close with a challenge or an inspiring thought. So long after the speech is over, people will still be thinking about it and thinking about your speech, even if nahumanan ka. Ideally, write your own speech. Then consult a friend, a mentor, or expert to revise or edit it if necessary. But bottom line, own your speech. What could happen if it's not your speech? It would come out again insincere. Di man na yung mga poem, di man na yung thoughts, di man na yung prinsipyo, di man na yung views, ni konsulta rin mga kaglaing tao. I have been approached several times, even when I was still a student, by classmates, by friends, even from my sisters karon, for me to write for them. And I always tell them, no, you write it. Then I will polish it. Basta gikan nimo. Sabta, ginaayaw kayo, boss, kung ipasuwag niyo sa inyong friends sa balibaran ka, ayaw kayo, boss. Kaya mas mayo ng gikan nimo, pero imo na lang palimpyuhan. Ipa-edit na lang nimo, imo na lang ipa-polish. Okay? But own your speech. Nga naman, kung everything fails, your visuals, your notes, or everything, you can speak from heart because it's yours. These are your views. These are your thoughts. Practice. Read and reread and read. Because after all, practice makes perfect. Perfect. Sometimes avoid the FS, the pure foods syndrome. You know the pure food syndrome when our F's become P's and our P's become F's. So practice makes perfect. But avoid sounding memorized lang. Kung may problema sa kung hindi mo siya i-practice, kaya mo na memorize na niyo. My favorite, don't video this. I don't want this documented. Are you documenting this?